And welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. So let's exit out and let's go right underneath here, right underneath the pragma here. Let's see, and create the following function for the database itself right underneath here. Okay, I'm going to start by, let's say we'll create a private function. Let's copy all of these, copy and paste that in here, and I'm going to call the name of this function upload db. There we go. That's the name of my function. Now what I want to do is I'm going to call my SQL com that I declared earlier. Okay, and I will ask you to make reference to my connection string right here. Let's get rid of this, and that is going to be equals, let's say server equals, and I'm going to come out of there and just say plus server, which I already have up there, plus, and I also have my username and so on. So I'm going to say plus username, okay, let's say user ID equals, no, not I might as well stick to lowercase. User ID equals, come out of there and you'll say plus the username plus, let's go for all of these then, copy that, paste that there, and the next one is going to be the password equals, grab all of these and that will be equals password, and let's say plus first, plus password there. And what is left for me now is the database. Let's come right down here and I'm going to enter my database, I'm just going to say plus database. There we go. Alright, so that's taken care of. So let's grab my SQL connector here, the variable. I'm going to say then refer to open the database, and this database, let's use the following command. Say SQL command dash connector, and that is going to be connection here, and this connection, we get all of this data from this connector that we have in here. There, enter semicolon. Now for the command, and I want that to SQL command to get hold of SQL command text, and what text are we talking of? Let's use SQL statement here. Select all from my database that I created from SMS. That is the name of the database. If you guys can still recall, right here, that is the database SMS. Let's open it up. I guess you guys know how to create a database anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem. There we go. Make sure you create by selecting the schema, give it a name, and so on. Alright, that is my database that I've created, and I have in total 15 columns. So minimize that. Now we want the database to be able to read from we actually want the system to be able to read from the database. So let's say SQL reader. There should be an L there, yeah. SQL read, that to be equals read whatever we have inside a command and get it executed. Grab that, paste that in here. I'll say execute reader. There. Enter parentheses. And what else to no? Execute reader, not end reader. Execute reader. Now we don't want our SQL data table. We want it to load whatever we have inside the reader itself. Let's put that in a quote here. SQL read. There. Now that is taken care of, we make use of read, so we might as well close it. Copy and close it. Dash close. Enter parentheses. We also need to close the connector here, so I'm going to grab it, paste it right there. Close. There. Now I need to be able to display all of these data into the DataGridVeiw. So let's open up the data. That's the DataGridVeiw. So let's grab that. I'm back in here, right underneath here. Paste that DataGridVeiw dash data source. And the data source that we need for our DataGridVeiw, that is going to be equals SQL data table. There, that is it, taken care of. So I'm going to call this, let's copy that. I'm going to call this in form load. Let's open up the form itself. Okay, let's double click on the form itself. Double click on that, and right here, form load. There we go, enter semicolon. Alright, so that is fine. The error should disappear, yet gone. Okay, now one more thing. We now need, suppose if we have data in there now, we will be able to view the data right away. But we don't seem to have any data in there. Okay, so let's come in here. This is my SQL statement. I have nothing in there yet. Okay, so let's click on the table, and you guys see that there's nothing in there except if I decide to enter data in here. Do that. Alright. If we decide to enter some value in here and then enter a name in here, let's say the name is Paul, and let's come in here, so name Paul Bowman, address number 1, Boston. So I'm just going to fill up that and get back to you guys. Then we can view, we'll be able to view this data straight into my, or straight on my system. So let me speed that up. Alright, I've just entered some data into my database, so I'm going to save that. Let's click on apply. There we go, finish. So let's minimize that. I just want to make sure that my DataGridVeiw here is working. I'm going to save that. So I expect this, my function, to be able to gain access straight into this data that I've entered to this database. Alright, so as you can see, there's nothing in there yet. So let's run the system and see. Click on run. Alright, decision time, guys. So if I click on my student data here, you see there you are able to view, or we can view the details of Paulo and the details that I enter onto my database here. Okay, so let's minimize that, and we need to correct that anyway. Put it now there and refresh that. Apply. Finish. There, even this correction that I've made now, we should be able to see that when I refresh this. So I am going to, okay, just close that. Now the other thing that I didn't show to you guys is, you see, let's run it again. When I click on the add button here, there is nothing happening, and exit, there's nothing happening. So what we want to achieve is for us to be able to enter data in here. When we click on this, we should be able to see all of the information right in here. Okay, as you can see, further the correction is made already. So I'm going to exit out, and let's double click on the add button. Oh, there we go. That's the add button there. Okay, right in here. I'm going to copy all of the above. So grab all of the above here, there, including open. Yeah, I'm just going to grab that. Come right down here. You see where we have our stats? That is add button here. Okay, or you can just go in here and click on that. Let's open it up. So come right down here, double click on the add button, and I'm going to paste that I've just copied. There we go. Alright, that is taken care of. So I'm going to now use the variable that I created called SQL query. SQL query, where is, let's try that again. Q. Yeah, query, and I'm going to say equals, open up a quote, and in there I'm going to say insert into SMS, my student management database, the following. So the first one is the student ID. Okay, we have the student ID in place, then enter a comma. The next one is first name, surname, address, then I do have a gender, so first name, surname, address, gender. I have the date of birth, DOB, I call that. Then comma. What else do I have? I have a mobile phone, mobile, email. There. I also have the guidance details, so I call that guidance. Then we have the guidance first name, so I call that G first name. Okay, and there's a comma. I want to say plus so that I can go to the next line. The next one is going to be surname, G surname, and so on of the guidance. Let's grab all of these, just change it around. Yeah, copy that, paste that right underneath here, and I'll just change it around. Copy it again, copy and paste there. And here that is going to be surname, address. There's no gender or any of these, so that's gonna be G mobile and G email. Right, now that all of that is in place, let's close that as well. And I need a value that would be in there, so the value, let me say plus here. Now come down here and I'll just say value equals as follows. The first value, that is going to be txt student ID dash text. There. So what I'm now doing is I'm now entering all of the object that I have on my form. Okay, the student ID, all of this information, whatever we have inside here, will be stored right in here. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the next one. That will be the student, no, the first name, txt first name, and so on, guys. So I'm going to speed that up and get back to you guys. Okay guys, those are all the components in place. Now let me do one thing before I continue. See here, I'm just going to enter try there, try cache. Let's close that right underneath here. There we go. And I'm going to say SQL command 1.2. Let's come down here. I'm going to say equals new MySQL command. That will be SQL query, comma SQL con, and enter that. This should be comma. Alright, now I want it to read it as well. SQL read equals SQL command dash execute reader. This very one here, there, and SQL con, we want that to close. That should be closed right here. There we go, and semicolon here. Okay, that is fine, taken care of. So underneath here, I'm just going to enter my cache statement, and that is exception ex. And what about my message then? I'm just going to enter message box in there, message box dot or dash show. What is it showing? It's showing the exception statement, which is that. Maybe that should be column show, and here dash message. And that's it. Enter semicolon. So what I'm going to then do is finally, let's say finally, I want to make sure it's closed. Then underneath here, let's call our, first of all, let's go for message box. I want the message box to display the following message: verifying that the system is officially saved, record entered successfully. There, and comma, the name of my system, that's school management system, and close that. And let's call our function as well, that is here, loaddb. There we go. And that's all there is to the add function. Close that. Let's take it from the top here. Add function. Yeah. Bring it down. Let's make sure there's no error. Okay guys, so far everything looks a bit alright. I think it's looking fine. That's the name of my table there. So add new. Yeah, I can't see any error so far. So let me run it. Save that, run. Okay guys, let's enter some data in there. And here the name is Tony Montana. That is the details of Montana. I'm just going to speed all of the information out now and get back to you guys. Change this to address though. That should be address. Alright, those are the details of Tony Montana up to the course code. The rest of it is not on the database. So I'm going to click on add. Yeah, it is successful. So let's see my table here. There we go. That's fine guys. Now let's go straight into the database. Click on the database. There's nothing about Tony Montana on this database. So I'm going to click on refresh. Let's refresh that. There we go. Look at that. The details of Tony Montana on the database. So everything is working fine. All we then need to do is to take care of these. So if I select any of these, we'll find all of the data will be, or the information will be populated here. And we also need to take care of reset. And so with that guys, I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial. I'll see you guys shortly.